Okay, so today we're going to talk about triangles. So when three lines come together and form a triangle. So a little refresher here is talking about some different types of triangles. So we have an acute scalene triangle, acute meaning all of the angles are acute, scalene meaning that all of the sides are different. So moving on to all the sides the same, all the angles the same, equilateral. Isosceles, two angles the same, which also means that two sides is the same. Obtuse means we have an obtuse angle. Scalene, again, no sides the same. Isosceles right given away by these two right angle boxes. Isosceles meaning two base angles are the same sides are the same, and a right triangle. A couple vocab words here. A triangle is formed by three line segments that intersect only at their endpoints. A point where the segments intersect is called a vertex, so a triangle has three vertices. Not a vocab word, but a good one to have on your paper anyway. The angle formed by the segments that lie inside the triangle are called interior angles. So these are interior angles because they are inside the triangle. It says AB with a line over it is read as segment AB. So the sides of the triangle are below are segment AB, segment AC, and segment BC. So knowing that there are 180 degrees in a triangle, we can do a lot of manipulation there. So triangle XYZ, you don't see the triangle, so if you want to draw one, you can. Mine end up being pretty close to equilateral almost all the time, even if it doesn't seem to be true. The measure of angle X is 72. The measure of angle Y is 74. What is the measure of angle Z? So what we could do is say there's 180 degrees, and I'm going to subtract the two angles that it gives me, and I get that the measure of angle Z is equal to 180 minus 72 minus 74 is 34. I could have also added those two angles up and then subtracted that sum from 180, which I'll do in the next one. So find the value of X in the triangle. Well, if I just add these two up, I know that's 135 degrees. And that 180 degrees minus 135 degrees gives me 45 degrees, so that remaining, or that missing angle, X is equal to 45 degrees. Making sure that I put a label on the 45 degrees, especially since that X has the degree symbol on it. What is the value of X in the sail and the sailboat to the right? Well, if you look here, we got 20 and 70. So those two angles add up to 90 degrees. And 180 minus 90 is 90. So we actually know that this forms a right triangle because it adds up to 90 degrees, or that missing angle is 90 degrees. So a little bit different. It says, this is a repeat notation. The measures of the angles of a triangle ABC are in the ratios 1, 4, and 5. So I'm going to write A, B, and C. So this one is 1, 4, and 5. Well, we don't know what they are, so when we don't know what something is, we just call it X. B is 4 times bigger, so 4X. C is 5 times bigger, so 5X. We know that all of these need to add up to 180 degrees, so X plus 4X plus 5X has to be 180. If I combine like terms, I end up with 10X equals 180. Divide both sides by 10 to get the X by itself. So X equals 18. Well, that's great, but we're not done. It says, what are the measures of the angles? So the measure of angle A is X, or 18 degrees. The measure of angle B is 4X, or 4 times 18. 72 degrees. And the measure of angle C is 5X, or 5 times 18, which is 90 degrees. Clearly not drawn to scale, but now I have what I needed to satisfy the equation or question. So the next one, similar. Again, it says the measures of the triangle LMN, so I'll just draw some rando triangle. L, M, N are in the ratio 2, 4, and 6. So instead of 1X, we'll just call it 2X's. 2X's, 4X's, and 6X's. So if we combine all of those, 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 2 is 12X. So we get 12X, and all of those added together have to equal 180. So if I divide both sides by 12 to get X by itself, we're going to get that X is 15 degrees, or 15. Well, then the measure of angle L is, and I'm going to write LMN, is 2X. So 15 times 2 is 30 degrees. 4X's is 60 degrees, 15 times 4. 6X is 15 times 6, or 90 degrees. So again, not drawn to scale, would look more like that, but we got the idea. On slide 6, new concept here, we have exterior angles of a triangle. The measure, and it's just a fun trick that works, the measure of an exterior angle, so this one, if we drew a triangle and extended one side, this would have an exterior angle of 1. They're saying that the measure of an exterior angle has to be equal to the sum of its two remote interior angles, which means not the one that's next to it, but the other two that's not adjacent to the exterior angle. In addition to its three interior angles, a triangle can have an exterior angle formed by one side of the triangle and the extension of an adjacent side. So this is the extension of the adjacent side. Each exterior angle of the triangle has two remote interior angles that are not adjacent to the exterior angle. So I tried to do this here, but if we're looking at 4 is an exterior angle, and the one that is not adjacent to it would be 2 and 3, so that's why they're circled in green. 6 is circled in pink, goes along with the pink. Purple goes with the purple. So the ones that it isn't touching. So let's apply that here. So it says the measure of angle 4, that's the exterior angle, is 135 degrees. The one that it's not touching is K and angle 2. Well, K is 90 degrees, given away by that 90-degree box. So it says that then that the measure of angle 2 plus 90 degrees is supposed to equal that exterior angle. So if I subtract 90 degrees from both sides to get the measure of angle 2 by itself, we get 45 degrees. And we're done. Same thing here. Refer to the figure to the right. Suppose the measure of angle 5, so that's the exterior angle, has to be equal to these two. So that's 90 degrees at angle 1. So the measure of angle 1 plus 90 has to equal 147. If I subtract 90 from both sides, this is very similar to that last problem. We get the measure of angle 1 equals 57 degrees. And we would be done, making sure we just label it. Now remember that if we wanted to find 5 and we were given these two, we could do that by just adding those two up to give us 5. Or if they give us two angles of the triangle, we can find the third one and use what we need. It's sometimes they can turn into a puzzle. But either way, have a great day.